Oh, welcome to Every Second Matters legislative update for December 2018. In this video, I'll be covering everything that has been introduced, passed, vetoed, voted on, whatever, related to the Second Amendment at the state level and the federal level. This is part of Every Second Matters, which is a grassroots campaign of basically just regular people getting together and supporting the Second Amendment on the second day of the month. Lots of people will do live chats, post certain things on whatever Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all that kind of stuff. Getting discussions in person, like actual in real life. I like to take the second of every month to make sure I start at least one Second Amendment oriented conversation with a regular person, whether they're in the middle, on the other side, on our own side, whatever, and just raise awareness for the Second Amendment. This month actually not a lot going on, so it's going to be kind of short. So I'm going to start with something that G-Webs had mentioned earlier. He did a live stream earlier today, asking about how did you find out about the second Every Second Matters? How did you get involved? Blah blah blah, whatever. So I'll tell my story real quick. Basically, this was back in the day when there was a bunch of live chats with, Yankee, Never Enough Ammo, gun websites, Stone Guy, One Bad Marine, probably some other people, Quark, and whatever. Other people, sorry if I forgot you. But back then, I was just a listener. I would just tune in and listen. It was almost a show every single day. Different people hosted, but a lot of the same people jumped into the different groups and all that. And anyways, that's kind of where the idea of Every Second Matters came from, was saying, hey, we should have a specific day that everyone focuses on the Second Amendment. And like I said, whether it's starting conversations in real life, I remember back then there was a lot of talk about, hey, maybe we should open carry that day and then try and start a conversation about it. But basically everyone did their own thing, which is cool. That's what grassroots all about, right? Like, we all do our own thing. The thing that I've been doing recently is these legislative updates. I hope you guys find them informative. I try and cover everything. If I miss something, please comment to this video, add it, go over to everysecondmatters.com and post the thing that you saw. Stuff happens really quick sometimes, and other times it happens really, really slow. But if every single person out there listening right now takes care of their own state, and I have at least 50 listeners, so I have at least one person from every state, then we'll be covered, because every single state will be covered. So if all you can do is focus on your local level, that's awesome. But get people involved, do rallies, call your people, senators, representatives, whatever. Like I said, state level, federal level, whatever it is, president. I mean, just let them all know that we like the Second Amendment. We like our guns. We like our rights, all of the rights. I'll get on my soapbox on that one. I like all the rights. So obviously the Second Amendment's important, but the other ones are too. So if you see other stuff going on, like, I'll tell you right now, I'm encouraging you, go support the Fourth Amendment, go support, the First Amendment, go support all of them. They're in there for a reason. So anyways, that's kind of when I got involved, was back then just as a listener. I loved the idea. And then as I started getting more comfortable doing these live chats, I started jumping in on some of the live chats, and specifically Every Second Matters, when someone would run like a full 8-hour all day long thing, people kind of jumped in and out. That's kind of where I got my feet wet and cut my teeth on doing the live chat thing, of jumping in there and just talking about what I had done over the past month, or what I had done on the second. So anyways, I wanted to answer G-Web's question, because like I said, he mentioned that earlier today. He did a full all day chat earlier today. I jumped in at the beginning and then I had to leave because of work, but we all have lives. So anyways, let's dig right into what's been going on over the past month. I think I'll start over here. And this is over in Washington. This was a proposal that was voted on in November, and it's I-1639. And that basically was an enhanced background check, raised the age of purchase to from 18 to 21. Let's see, it would require firearms training before semi-automatic rifles can be purchased, a 10-day waiting period, and added a Class C felony to the books for gun owners whose firearms are accessed by a prohibited person. It's not that's not a problem for the person who's prohibited. That's a problem for the person whose gun it is, and that I don't know, that seems kind of weird to me. Just digging in here, I know, like I said, it got voted on and it did pass. So I'm not sure when it kicks in, when it goes to into effect, but that's bad. I don't know. That's ugh. So that sucks. Unfortunately, that's a sad note. I don't know a lot more about it. Other people have done better jobs at explaining what 1639 is, so you can look at that. But anyways, not cool. Now, unfortunately, in the not cool column, we're gonna jump over to my freaking backyard, my hometown. Detroit City Council approves bullet bill resolution. And it's weird that it's the Detroit City Council, and yet it affects all of Wayne County, which that's the county Detroit's in, but there's other cities in Wayne County. So I'm not quite sure why the Detroit City Council is allowed to determine stuff for the rest of the county. Because I'm not allowed to vote for Detroit City Council people because I don't live in the actual city, but it affects Wayne County. So what the heck's up with that? Anyways, basically this bullet bill, what it does is it limits the amount of ammunition that can be bought. And I'm not quite sure what the limit is. I said I was going to dig in deeper before I did this and then ended up not. So sorry, I'm not the best at research. So please look it up. I don't know. I'm going to guess it's 1,000 rounds, but I don't know that for sure. Hell, it could be 50 rounds. I have no idea. But it limits the amount you're allowed to buy per purchase. It also requires a mental health background check for anyone who wants to buy ammo in Wayne County. And again, I'm not sure what that entails. Do you have to pay for that? Because someone is spending time to dig through your medical records. You would think they would want to be compensated for that. You would think that'd be a HEPA violation because it's none of your business. If I haven't been adjudicated mentally ill, it's none of your business what my medical records say. So I hope it gets challenged on that front. And then additionally, it adds a tax, and that tax, the money that's raised from that, is going to assist victims of gun violence and educational programs that focus on conflict resolution. Oh, and administrative costs, which means there's going to be some person who's in charge of it who's going to make a salary, and then he's going to have people that work for them, and they're going to make a salary, and it's just, ugh, it's all just big government paying for itself. And I'm going to see if I can find a quote from the person who is really pushing this. And I do feel for this person because basically, all right, here's a quote here. It's Davis, whoever this Davis guy is. My brother Vito was gunned down and killed in the streets. That sucks. Also, Vito and an uncle was a victim of gun violence. We must unload the guns. I don't want any more families to go through what my family and too many families have endured on the killing fields of Wayne County. Now, listen, I understand Detroit is not the best city in the world as far as crime goes, but calling it the killing field, that's a bit much. I don't know, man. It's like I said, I feel for the person. They had a family member that was killed. I'm not sure the circumstance of that. That is sad. But was that person killed by someone who wouldn't have been able to buy bullets under this new, regulation? Was it someone who wouldn't have passed a mental health background check? Or was it like a gang member or just someone who was trying to rob the person? Like I said, I don't know the details of it. Was it, I hate to say this, but was it like regular crime? Because that kind of happens. And unfortunately, whatever you do on this charging more money, having a tax, doing a mental health background check, or not being able to buy too many at a time. Like, would this person have been able to still go and bought 50 bullets and they only needed one to kill this guy's brother? Again, I feel bad for him. For sure, I do. We all don't like crime, but how much are you going to restrict me because something else bad happened? So I'm really disappointed in that. I tried the best I could. I mean, I contacted the city council and told them it was dumb, but obviously they don't listen to me. So, oh boy, we jumped over to California. I'm sure this is good news, right? Over in California, the city of Saratoga is trying to pass anti-gun firearm ordinance. All right, what is this? Blah blah blah. It's November 7th. Is there a number for this or whatever? Anyways, basically, it's an ordinance that seeks to force law-abiding citizens to lock up their firearms in a home. So it's like a safe storage law kind of thing. That's, I don't know. That's just dumb in my opinion. Blah blah blah. The ordinance do nothing but place people in a position where they're unable to adequately protect themselves. Does it say what they have to do? Can it just be locked up? Um, Sorry, I'm kind of reading this through as I'm talking. Nothing to make the city safer. I agree. That's not going to help anything. Yeah, it doesn't go into very much detail on that, but either way, it's a city ordinance that is basically a safe storage law kind of thing, which, if I had to guess, means all the guns have to be locked up, which means if you need them in emergency, well, they're all locked up, so you're out of luck. All right, let's go over to Ohio. Get a little positive note. Ohio's House passes self-defense legislation. So that's good. House Bill 228. Let's see, what does it say? It does. Let's see. It basically places the burden of proof on a self-defense claim on the prosecution. So instead of, because as it stands now, or as it used to be, if you wanted to claim self-defense, then what do they call that? It's like a positive defense where basically you have to prove that you were acting in self-defense. So like the burden of proof is on you as the defendant, which is supposed to be innocent till proven guilty. Like they have to prove you did something wrong. If you want to do a self-defense claim or a stand your ground claim, like I said, it's like a positive defense where you have to prove it was self-defense, and then they say, okay, that's fine, you're allowed to do that. This says basically they have to prove it wasn't self-defense. So you say, hey, dude, it was self-defense, and they say, okay, well, now we have to prove that it wasn't self-defense, and therefore you get in trouble. So that's, it's kind of legal type stuff, but that's a good thing. It puts it back where you, as an innocent person acting in self-defense, the prosecution would have to prove that you're not innocent and that you didn't act in self-defense. So it's their problem. It's their burden of proof to prove that you acted inappropriately. It also says it would remove the duty to retreat before using force. So I guess I thought they already had that, but maybe not. So that'd be a good thing as far, because you know how that always goes. It sounds good on paper, like, well, you should have to run away before you use deadly force. Here's the thing. As most, regular people would do, if they could run away, they would. Like, I don't want to have to be in a self-defense situation. If I can get out of there, I'm going to. The problem is everyone Monday morning quarterbacking it, which means, looking back, hindsight 2020, and them deciding after the fact, well, you could have jumped out that window, or you could have made it to the door without them getting to you. Or here's the thing, in that split second, you don't know if you can get away or not. If there's a person there and they're threatening you and you act in self-defense, And then someone after the fact says, well, maybe you could have jumped over the bushes, or maybe you could have ducked behind a thing, or whatever it is. They're telling you what you could have done when they have more facts than you did at the time. So it should be defined. I believe Messiah you said this of, what would a prudent person do with the information they had at the time? Like, was it reasonable with the information the person had? And that's, the self-defense person of, oh, there's a person trying to attack me. Uh-oh, what do I do? Okay, I'm going to use my gun because they are threatening me. They're threatening my life. They're threatening my family. I'm going to defend myself or defend my family. And maybe if after the fact you find out, oh, well, this person, blah, 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 whatever, some crazy thing. Well, you didn't know that at that time. All you knew in that split second was this person's threatening you with a weapon, or they've illegally broke into your house. You don't know if they're there to do you harm or if they're going to run away or whatever. So therefore, you're justified in believing that you're going to defend yourself. But anyways, going down the rabbit hole on that one. So that's a good thing. It passes the House Bill 228. So obviously it goes over to the other side now. And that's what this last article is about, is the Ohio Senate. And let's see, on Monday, December 3rd, look at that, tomorrow, 10 a.m., they're going to hear testimony about House Bill 228. So that's cool. And then in that same committee, they're going to hear House Bill 142. What is House Bill 142? Let's see. Oh, this is kind of where this isn't as big of a deal, but I guess it's cool. So House Bill 142, a concealed handgun licensee is only required to present a license or verbally notify a police officer once requested to present their driver's license upon being stopped by a law officer. So that just kind of, it clarifies the disclosure requirement, which that's a good thing. I mean, at least get it so that it's all a standard. I know in Michigan they have a duty to inform if you are carrying and you're a concealed carry holder. You have to notify the officer. And that sounds well and good. I'm totally fine with doing that. Hey, just letting you know, blah blah blah. I'm carrying. Like, what do you want me to do? So I'm not going to reach for it. What do you want me to do? You just, let's put the ball in your court. I let you know. However, there was a case where, because I know I've heard people say this before, oh, just hand them, like when you hand them your driver's license, also hand them your concealed carry permit, and then you'll be fine. Well, there was a person who did that. He handed the officer his driver's license and his CPL, that's what it's called in Michigan, a concealed pistol license. He just handed it to him and, okay, have a good day. Well, it was found by some court that by just handing him his license, that is not notifying him like adequately enough or soon enough, because basically what they're saying is the second the officer walks up to your window, you have to tell him, hey, just so you know, I have a CPL and I'm carrying. Instead, the dude waited for a minute, probably, hey, how's it going? Blah, blah, blah. Hey, did you know you're speeding or you missed that stop sign or whatever? I don't know what he was pulled over for. But, there's normally a little chit chat during a traffic stop first. And then, oh, do you have your license and registration? Yep, here you go. Here's my insurance, blah, 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 whatever. Well, that was seen as taking too long of a time to notify the officer. So here in Ohio, basically what they're clarifying is that first little bit, that first little chit chat, you don't have to notify them. But as soon as the officer says, do you have your driver's license, or give me your driver's license, whatever, however they say it, then you must inform them that you have a concealed handgun license and that must be presented. So at least that gets rid of a little ambiguity. I wouldn't say that's a huge win for gun rights. I mean, it's just carry license are kind of dumb to begin with. I'm supportive of constitutional carry, but I guess at least it clarifies it so no one gets stuck in that gray area of, oh, you waited 10 seconds before you told me, so now you're going to get in trouble. Let's see, there's also something about it. It lowers a penalty to a misdemeanor, um, the fine not to exceed $25. So I guess if you don't clarify, then it's just a misdemeanor and a fine no more than 25. But just notify them. I mean, in my personal opinion, that's just good protocol, anyways. Whether there's a duty to inform or not, I choose to just inform, because if they find out after the fact, they might be a little more on edge. They might think you're hiding something. Like, I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm just carrying. I'm doing it legally. I don't care. I'll tell you that I'm doing it. So that's just my personal opinion. But hey, follow the laws. If your state doesn't have a duty to inform, you don't feel like doing it, then don't do it. I mean, just get your speeding ticket and go on your way. They never even need to know that you have a gun, because it's really not that big of a deal. But anyways, that actually is it as far as I can see. So, like I said, this is a super short one. Thanks everyone for watching, and I'll see you guys again on January 2nd.